country's your power. Your country's your power. Your country's your power. Your knowledge ain't from college. Your country's your power. Your country's your power. Your country's your power. And your knowledge ain't from college. I feel superpowers. I feel superpowers. Conscious. Do it in vain. That shit vanity. Are you insane? Or insanity? If it ain't conscious. That shit vanity. That shit vanity. That shit vanity. Maxed up hand sand. 2-party K-Clan. From the jump, the shit red. Uncle Tone Clan, Uncle Sam's. I form a arm with my Kimmy hands. No Simmy Sham. Son of Ham. Blowing kush. We studying books. Take a look at the stars. Trap. We mourn. United in country snoring. I'm a too high, keep it cool. 2-5, feeling groovy. You fooling with the foolish. Be conscious of the foolish. KOS. Your country's your power. Your country's your power. Your country's your power. And your knowledge ain't from college. Your country's your power. Your country's your power. Your country's your power. And your knowledge ain't from college. I feel superpowers. I feel superpowers. Conscious. Do it in vain. That shit vanity. Are you insane? Or insanity? If it ain't conscious. That shit vanity. That shit vanity. That shit vanity.
It's time to prove that I got the power. Time to get what I've been going after. Just had to be aware that it's here.
Hey, didn't get authorized for that last part. Hey, the first part was authorized. They didn't get authorized on the last part, so we gotta turn that down. You already know, can't even hear that right now. That power conscious. Your conscious. Ooh, your conscious power. This knowledge ain't from college right here. This knowledge right here ain't from college. I'll look for it a little later then. As we keeping it on the proceed.
Please don't quote that, cause I don't know that. No, I've been brainwashed, my life has been sabotaged. They treat me like low jack. So how do you react when really you kings and queens treated like outcasts? Just breathe and relax, down deep in the artifacts, you build the outlast. Oh no, I don't think so. Pick up your calico, go pull a kick dough.
Come on in, come on in and learn. Come on in and learn this knowledge not from college.
You cursing that holy name. People not showing love, so you should just do the same. Go ahead and hate the world. All it produces pain.
Enjoy the playback. Hit the playback where we miss you on the live. Hope we get to hear you on the live, see you on the live.
If you accept truth, this guarantee you a sword. I'm not going to remain carnal cause I'm righteous. Your higher self is heaven, did you know that? Did you know that? Your higher self is heaven, did you know that? I have been so low before, don't wanna go back.
You know the Lord,
teach you and teach you. Like a low jack. Your higher self is heaven, did you know that? Did you know that? Your higher self is heaven, did you know that? I have been so low before, don't wanna go back. Tired of living at the bottom like a low jack, quote that. I have been so low, low as the serpent, below the surface. Down in the basement, up under the pavement, they know my placement. But place my mitts firmly on the shoulder of something sacred. They worship and all my praises payment. Upgraded my ship for the sail through hell, call it growth and development. Oh, you haven't developed yet. Keep doing what you're doing, thinking you earning respect. Deploying all your royalty, Lord, to just a check. But really, you not growing, destroying your intellect. Limited mindset, supposed to be limited. Stuck in between these boundaries is kind of just like a fence. When thought is abroad, you're more like an abyss. Don't explore, just always ignore the context. Follow the subject. Dig into your reason to see that it's suspect. It's not adding up with some things you don't get. Put action in the questions instead of accepting it. Solving things or erecting the content. Take that energy and feed your lower self. Scroll just to go back to baby steps. On my own 10 toes, now I'm so heavenly. Your higher self is heaven, did you know that? Did you know that? Your higher self is heaven, did you know that? Stand strong. I have been so low before, don't wanna go back. No. Tired of being at the bottom like a low jack, low jack. Your higher self is heaven, did you know that? Did you know that? Your higher self is heaven, did you? I have been so low before, don't wanna go back. So low. Tired of living at the bottom like a low jack, quote that.
Oh, yes, yes, indeed. Gonna go and get the frankincense right. Oh, yes. We're gonna get into a good topic. I don't know if this the only video of its kind, because I have not searched this thing. But this comes from direct experience and understanding self-similarity. The phone dropping. So good, so good, so good. Let me find some. You already know. No, that position ain't gonna work. I want to get that emblem of the light. You know what? Let's see if we can get that lighted up. Yeah, that. So we're going to be building on some subject matter today. So come on in, some heavy topic that's not in college. Come get your knowledge. That's not in college. Come learn. Come learn. Yep, it's time to come learn. We're going to be learning about the Roman spell today. Well, we're coming into the evening, so we're going to do our evening cast. Hope y'all enjoyed the conscious tracks. Just a stimulator, seeing that motion. You know, everything is spirit in motion. So this is why we gotta have this conversation tonight. We've been trained well. I'm gonna bring the visual, because I'm just gonna do the little talking on this one. The next live which will be after this one, I'm going to bring the visual to what I'm saying. And so right now, you just need your ears. And from that, you'll be well laid down. You know, it takes a long time to get to this level. It took intelligence backed by study, self, doing the knowledge, and being rewarded. So we're gonna be on the little topic here. Heart emojis if you loving it in there. We just beginning, so we ain't looking for nothing major. We just not beginning on the self journey though. It's just the beginning of bringing it to the public. It's been done in private the whole time for consistently just 18 years, and then consistently on top of that 35 years. So we got a high level awareness over here, supported by scholarship. Nothing that will be said. And so I'm not gonna bring the evidence on this one though. I'm gonna just bring the talking. These talking points that I know if I feel them, I know we feel them as a collective. And we don't know why. So once those hunches come, now we get to the point where we gotta get to the answer. We gotta get to the wisdom. Oh yeah. If y'all want to, you can look up the word MAGIC. MAGIC. You can look that up if you want, just to get an understanding of what's finna be going down. Design. So it might not even be that long, depends on how the spirit get. Let's see, do I like it better with the visual, or do I like it better with just talking with no visual and talking? Because we want to grow and be all we can be. So 15-minute mark, if you understand. Astrogeometry or astrogeography, we go at the 15-minute mark. So we can go in and get some answers here. Boom. And we there. Okay. I just learned that you cannot see. Can you see what you typed up? No, you can't see what you titled the video. But the video is based on the Roman magic or the Roman magic curse spell. Yes. The Roman magic curse spell. Now, if you've been following the Sufas that has been dropped, then you know what I'm speaking on when I say Roman spell. Now, if you don't know and it's your first time listening to any video, then I advise you to go listen to the Sufas that was dropped. So every video over here, we call them Sufas because Sufa means a character of wisdom. So now as we in self-wisdom, we have to understand all. We have to understand all, A-double-L. So through ALL is how we get to KOS. There's two things that we have to extremely learn, and that's self. Oh, I tell you, it sounds paradoxical, but more, more. That's all I can say is more. You are so much more than what you have been told, and due to what we call Roman magic, a movie. Matter of fact, let me cite a movie as a source. I would like for the listeners to watch the movie Dark Tower. The movie Dark Tower. The movie Dark Tower is exactly about what the presentation is about. This Roman curse spell. And so in that movie, before we get to breaking that down of what the actual methodology is and actual uh, effects that we can recognize, as being put on and laid down on the people. And so in these times, yes, watch the Dark Tower. There's a phrase that I want to highlight. And in that movie, uh, you will know it because it has the actors. It has Idris Elba in it. And Matthew McConaughey, something like that. The popular actor, man. In this movie, they say these words: resist. You cannot resist the magic. This is the highlight. You cannot resist the magic. Oh, this about to be good. Let me get back. Can Is that on screen? Yeah, yeah. So yeah, this is the light. We're talking about the light. The one light. So the light is the all. This is what we haven't been told. We think all is different than one. One is all. And so the Roman spell is in the movie Dark Tower. And the highlight point is they cannot resist my magic. And so they have Matthew McConaughey playing that part so we can understand in depthness uh, the situation at hand. And most of this is unknown unless you are guided by the great creator and self-awareness. So let's break this down a little bit. Now, if you ever wonder why there's a high level of ignorance right now, there's a high level of ignorance. And when you see a high level of ignorance, you see a lot of chaos, you see a lot of crimes, and you see a lot of sin. And so high level ignorance is a requisite as a main ingredient they use to cast their Roman spell curse. Now, instead of them cursing us, because that would be obvious, right? Guess what they do? They use us to curse ourselves and each other. So we should know that there's places like, let's name one so we keep it short, like Disneyland, that is known for its magical belief. And to be involved in magical belief, not belief alone, but magical belief, is a part of the worldview of, Disney. Growing up, everybody, at least in America, knows superheroes, knows Mickey Mouse things that's fictional and dress up in costumes. You know what I'm talking about? They dress up like all this things linked to your toys, and your toys linked to the movies, and your movies linked to the posters, and all these things connect. Not seeing the connection, we just having fun, especially as young. We mm, young and having fun. Put it that way. And so, the younger you are, the more higher level ignorance you are. So it takes a lot of time to get from ignorance, to wisdom. And that's the goal, to be at wisdom. So you don't make yourself, you know, ignorant. And so what do I mean by ignorance? What I mean by ignorance is simply the fact of ignoring, ignoring. For magic to work, a high level of ignorance, of ignoring, is needed. This is the main ingredient to successful belief magic. And if this works, create an ignorant state in one's own being, then you will see it manifold like dominoes. You will see it manifest out. And so what you will see manifesting out is a lack of faith in the creator, a lack of knowledge of the creator, which bleeds into a lack of knowledge of self. So to have a high level ignorance is to say you have a high level of lacking knowledge of self, which makes now the first card of the tarot deck, which is the Fool. But that's a baby being born. A baby being born is a fool to this world. You can, um, well, we're using a baby as an example as a conscious state. Their conscious state is undeveloped. So they don't know what is right and what's wrong, and they don't know what is real and what is not. So now when we put those two together, what really stands the test of time, not what's right or what's wrong, is what is and what is not, what's real and what is not. So I hope we get wisdom from that. Now, when this high level ignorance spreads, and best believe this high level ignorance is known as a mind virus. This is a virus that one has and one can spread through the mouth, through actions. So this is where it comes into resisting, and why in that movie they say he said that he couldn't resist his magic and that he forgot the face of his father. Father being the creator. So they were saying the face, meaning consciousness, that he forgot the consciousness of his creator. Is the overall gist in that movie. And it's not until he gains that confidence back in order to complete the mission. And from that, we'll see it spread into uh issues. But now I'm bringing it back to ourselves. This is where they want us, like in a state like we're watching a movie that is not really happening in reality. And so we'll begin on some aspects of what is the offshoots of high level ignorance. Okay, so when a population is trained into high level ignorance, you see that that population has no community. You will notice that there's no community. So this ignorance bleeds out to the point where the people don't even know how to establish or to organize themselves into a community. And so without a community, a lot of things start falling into place that are not good. And so those things that fall into place that are not good, the first sign is the community. The first sign is the community. That they have no community, they have no name for the community, they have no sense of belonging to a community, they have no values, or since there's no community. And some of the time there could be possibly no relation to the divine creator, the Lord of the universe. And so without these things being present, we automatically have a prefrontal cortex malfunction. And by default, we go into animal reptilian instinct. And so animal reptilian instinct is where this Roman spell curse thrives. So once it sets the bait of ignorance, high level ignorance, once that bait is set, now it can cast that into the public domain. And so once you cast that into the public domain, now everyone is acting as an individual. And as an individual, you receive what was put in the public domain, but you never have a community. And so we're going to be getting to the very bulk of what I'm saying. But these some highlights of how you know the spell has been casted. Another troublesome point is the family dividing. You will know if this Roman spell curse has been casted upon you and yours if your family is divided. A divided, as it says, a house divided, representing a house containing a family. A house divided cannot stand. So if a house represents a family, then the Roman spell is saying if we can find a way to enter the house, and when we enter the house, then we can divide the house, then we can effectively work our magic and cause the separation. And now self will be separated from the family and community, and most importantly, the Lord, which will now makes you the first tarot card. So you don't want to be the first tarot card if you don't know what a tarot card is. That's a tarot is a rotating cycle. So you don't want to be in the first card, which is the Fool, which is what we mean by the high level of ignorance. And so we know we can go into multiple aspects of how the family is divided. With child support, with mother and father not together, separate children, separate homes for children, stepchildren, all these things is a sign. Now, these things all could be corrected, and you will have the solution by the end of this live or video replay. So don't get all sad and cope with this negativity. But to be aware, this is awareness. You have to be aware so you can actually either keep yourself away from these situations, or if you find yourself in these situations, remove yourself from these situations. And now you can bring back togetherness instead of division. And so if the family is divided, that leads to now one lacking in self-knowledge. And this is the bottom of the bottom right here. No one and not anyone want to be of a competent age and be lacking self-knowledge. This is critical. Ooh. Why is this critical? Because if you don't understand this could, you know, your next choice could be the most devastating choice that can bring you into the opposite of happiness. And basically, that's what all these things do. They basically strip you fraction by fraction. Fraction by fraction, they strip you until you completely naked and without knowledge of self. Making you making you fool's gold. Mm. I was contemplating and receiving what I was saying because the understanding. Okay, let me finish this up, and then we're gonna get to the understanding of what is the Roman spell. Now we shining some attention on why. So we'll finish these up. We'll finish these up just with two more. So just bear in with me. I know this is new stuff, and I hope it's attention grabbing and self grabbing, because this is what we need more importantly than any other thing in the in the whole wide existence. Whew. The Roman spell curse. This is what it does to all who are cast under this spell. Now, if anyone read the Bible, if anyone know of the Bible, and have read the Bible for themselves, you cannot say that there's not a showcasing of magic in the book. Hey, so if you read that, you know in the Bible that there's magic all throughout. And so we never really got an explanation of this stuff. So much supernatural was going on in those texts, and still a lot of questions have not been answered. And this is why. And so if you just tuning in and if you missed the beginning, we was covering right now. We're gonna be getting into we moving and transitioning into the what, but now we addressing the why. And so this spell is very deadly. I believe it's the most deadly. I mean, just to be alive in this time and to see it mature from a baby stage all the way to a full grown, as the Romans call it. They call it Hagia Sophia. Now, they think this is Hagia Sophia. But what it really is to the people is that it casts a spell on the people. But the crazy thing about it is they not the spell casters. They only provided the language that will allow you to cast the spell on yourself. But you will think you casting it on another. So get wisdom. With all thy getting, get wisdom. Because this is affecting all individuals across the land. On the land, the people are recovering from this Roman spell. How we know? What did we list? What did we list as the first? There'll be a high level of unconsciousness. There'll be a high level of ignorance for any spell to work. For any spell to work, the main ingredient is a high level. A high level, not a low level. A high level of ignorance. They need self to ignore self for this magic to work. So this is what we have to come to and to understand in the community. This is why it's no community. Because we are ignorant to a community. We are ignorant to a family being the most valuable thing. We are ignorant to community being the most valuable thing. We are ignorant to our Lord and Savior. We are ignorant to our own selves. And if you are ignorant to your own self, then you are why we need everyone to wake up out of this spirit, out of this. The Thanos snap, that's the wake up. Now this is where it get deadly at right here. This is where it get deadly at right here. When you lack self-knowledge, lacking self-knowledge produces addictions. The lacking of self-knowledge produces self-addictions. This is very important in the time that we in. We don't understand how important understanding addictions are. Addictions, for a simple start, is adding. For an adept understanding, addiction is what you speaking. So in between these stages, you have the range of life. And in many philosophies, the range of life is limited. And so addictions is not addressed in a lot of philosophies, because addiction is the biggest money maker and is the biggest sign of lacking self-knowledge. I really appreciate y'all coming in. Gratitude to y'all for just clicking and pressing. Addictions. So at the simple level, it starts with you wanting a toy to wanting anything that is not produced by your own. And to be produced by another is to start to create a cycle. So we haven't known these things, so we've been dependent on these things, which is a semi-form of addiction. And these things can get greater, increase to the point where the ignorance is so high that the addiction level is now so high that the only way a person can form or have a function of normalcy is through the addiction itself. And so when you get heavily self-addicted, this is what is called drugs. Anything that you addicted to, you can't live without, you get angry for. These can be considered substances or drug substances. Oh, okay, you with? Now this is where it gets very critical, because we think drugs is only limited to medicine. Drugs includes medicine, but is not limited to medicine only. Anything can become an addiction. Not only things outside of self, like food, sleep, sex, these things are a form of addictions because they can become addictive. And once you addicted, this is when it's labeled as a drug. Now, did we know that all drugs is a form of dope? No pun intended now. Drugs is dope. And see, we have to be very careful with these words, drugs and dope, because they put it right in your face and say these are pharmaceutical drugs, but somehow we don't consider that dope. But then in the street culture, dope could be considered drugs. So now when we speaking about on the land is becoming drug infested with dopes. And once you become a dope, you don't want to become a dope. Once you become a dope, once you become a dope, all I can say is, I hope you don't become a dope because that's at the most, what we say, high level ignorance. You have made it to the ultra level, the super ultra level of ignorance of self, and now you are a remote control to be used and buttons to be pressed for others to get what they want. Man, I was just reflecting back, man. So many people that I see in the world and people I know in the world, have turned not to the creator, but to drugs. And so people are becoming druggies or dopies. So be careful not to become a druggie and dopey because one lead to the other and the other sustains the other. So once we understand the connection of all this, we can understand why they have used what is called the Roman spell curse. The Roman spell curse. So that'll complete our why. We should have enough physics now so we can move to the spiritual or the metaphysics. And we should know under the principle of metaphysics. Hold on, let me take a note. Let me take some. Let me write metaphysics. So, right. So that was the physics. How you could see, taste, touch, smell, and feel those things. Now, which is the visible. Now we're gonna go into the realm of the invisible, which is my favorite realm. If you was to ask me personally. But now we're gonna get to the Roman curse. Now those are spell curses, but now we're finna get to the curse. And let's define curse. What is a curse? A curse is defined as a group of words used to solicit to another in order to manipulate the other to causing self-harm, self-injury, or some unconsensual self-affliction. In shorter words, curses cause harm. Now, our metaphysics. Can you see a curse? No, you can't see a curse. A curse can become visible, but you can't see a curse. So this is why it's important to understand the metaphysics of curses, because curses are not these words when you on these paths. You do not want to just be speaking fast, because these things are in the atmospheres. And so there's many forms of this that exist as a core to the physical, and they exist in the non-physical. The invisible is what I call the metaphysics. So the way they use the curse on the people is this way. What I found is one word. Out of all of this, now this is really interesting. Out of all of this, I found word. I found one word that is used to cast curses. And so this needs to be known. So I'm just taking the time necessary for the perfect word, because this is very serious when it comes to understanding the curse. Now, let's talk about its application. The application of a curse. This needs to be known by the curse. All curse makers that send out curses, all curses return to its maker. Number one rule of application of curses, that all curses return to their maker. That's rule number one. And it's two rules. Two, now, if the curse maker can trick your mind and body to believe then that changes the direction of the curse until you no longer believe. Now, there are steps into it and steps over it, but these steps are very simple. The steps are in the rules. The rule one, all curses return to the maker. So the second rule is called really displacement. So if they can displace you, or if they can displace the curse, meaning occupy space where the curse could be, then it won't return to the maker. So displacement is placing the curse on someone else rather than it's coming to its maker. And so they do this by way of belief. So now they thought about real hard and long, how could we get the people to do our bidding? How could we get all of the people to do the bidding of a small few? In community, this is how it's done. It's done. Ooh, that's what I didn't put in the title. How they use God. They use God to curse the people. Oh, this is going to be good. They use God to curse the people. Like, oh, Sufyan Sharif. What do you mean? Okay. Well, do you know what they was calling God before God? And so if you don't, then you may not understand why. And so the why is to curse the people. But now to curse the people, you need each individual person to believe in something that all the people would know. And so hence we got this word God. But many doesn't discuss the origins of God. So the origins of God is not discussed very heavily. And so the origins is where they created the spell to curse the people. To curse the people, they need a word that you could spell. And so this word you could spell, we use the word God, but God is not the origin of that word. The word God comes from the origin of the word YHWH. I think I'm gonna go in on YHWH. I think I'm gonna do some good videos on. I think we get into that point that it's time to dispel the Kabbalah. It's time to dispel the Kabbalah, debunk the Kabbalah, and demystify the Kabbalah. Yeah. Okay, so y'all stay tuned for some future videos on Kabbalah. So when I say the YHWH, this is why it's in reference to the understanding of the Kabbalah now. I didn't piece this, it just came. Allah just sent this as a thought to me. So now that I have it, I'm gonna do something with it. But the YHWH is where you get the origin of the word God. I was just doing some minute micro thinking. Okay. So yes, from the YHWH, this is where we get the modern term of the word God. So this word God is not um the casting. That's to prime you up for the KHW. Jehovah. We just keep it short. You can tweak all those in many sounds. But the gist of it is that these two are the same name, Yahweh and Jehovah. But nevertheless, this is where you get the rendition Jehovah and Yahweh is from YHWH. Now, in the Sufyan is where I understand the YHWH what it originally means. And in that, it tells us that it means you. It means you. So they found a way to cast the spell on the people by using the name of God wrongly. So they turned YHWH into a spell curse and called it YOU. This is the curse word. This is the curse word. You. YOU is a curse word. Is a curse spell. Let me let that soak in. I'm gonna let that soak in. I'm gonna bring some music back on the floor. Cause that's just how I'm feeling. So I'm gonna bring some music back on the floor. Pause for
They
the
say that I'm pro-black, but please don't quote that, cause I don't know that. I know I can rap my really kings and queens, see it out. Just breathe to read the past, I need the artifacts, we look the outlast. Oh, I don't think so. Pick up your color code, go pull a kick dough, go on the rampage, mad cause you've been a slave. Go out and take something, you too weak to make a wave. Everything yourself, too strong to have faith. Living life at the bottom, you cursing someone else, so you should just do the thing. But ain't hate the world, what produces pain. I tighten up your mind frame to a straight aim. What's really yours, we go get gone. Remain call the boss on righteous. You hide yourself is head. Been so long before, don't wanna go back. You get at the bottom like a low jack. You hide yourself is head. You know that. You hide yourself is heaven. Did you know that? I have been so low, wanna go back. So low, tired of living.
Hey, we back then. Yeah, we back. So heart emojis is what we used on this channel. Heart emojis is what we use on this channel. The conversation at hand. The unknown curse. No, this is a heavy topic amongst our selves. Hopefully it's in some, some groups talking about it. But we need more of a community in the time of now. A large group can begin. It's just because the spell has bind and it bounds. And so anything that bounds or binds is broken. Spell broken when we understand how a spell is casting out demons into swine. Can we say that? So we know casting out is a thing because that's what in the story. And so this is why, you hear the names Yah and Yah is different than the word you. You is a derivative of Yah. Yah being Allah, Yah Allah being the true name of the deity. But as we see on the timeline, if you catch the Sufa, I think it's located on the live section, or the timeline of the Moorish prophets, you'll see what I'm talking about with Yah and Allah being one and the same. Now, the Romans, as we see in the Sufas, they set out a mission by swearing to destroy all culture. So it don't matter who, all culture. So all culture would be casted a God spell. And so this word Y-O-U comes from Y-H-W-H. And Y-H-W-H is where we get the cast word Y-O-U. Once they came up with the cast word Y-O-U, if you notice, that's all vowels. And there's not many words that have, all vowels. So that is critical in our understanding. Now that you can verify, now you understand the metaphysics. So now the metaphysics is you casting spell upon yourself. Now, how do you cast a spell upon yourself? This is where it gets good. How do you cast a spell upon yourself? By saying the spell word. I'm going to say it again, by saying the spell word. The spell word is Y-O-U. When you say that word, this is the starting of casting a spell. And as you cast a spell, when you say you and whatever comes after that comes back to the maker. You see the game here? So you could tell somebody, you never did this for me. You actually thinking in your speech that you actually talking to the person that you're talking to, saying that you never did this for me. Remember, you comes from, is really Yah, which you doesn't exist. You exist as self. The you talking about is you. And this is how they have you cast a spell on you, on yourself. And this is how it's done, by using the word you. And that's self-explanatory. I don't have to go deep in that. Just become self-aware of when you say you. Now, in order to combat that or break the spell, you're going to need to know what you're doing when it comes to speech. So they have casted this on us since we was young, so we almost would never recognize it because it seems to be pointing away from self when you and self is the same. Just like Allah and man is one. So when we understand that to break a spell, then the spell must be binded. So in order to break the bind of the spell of you, which is a curse for us to curse ourselves, is to replace you with self. To replace you with self. And we're going to close with that beautiful right there. Ourself, Lord and Master. Peace and love.